have two panelists today. Our first panelist is Mr. Salman Abbasi. He's Deputy Director Training and Students Affairs at ICAP. Our second panelist is Barira Mustafa. She is our member at ICAP and she's working for Unilever Pakistan as Finance Business Partner. Thank you so much for joining us today. So let's start with the basic question, Salman Saab. What is a CA qualification? What does ICAP do? And how do students get registered at ICAP?
All right, there are three questions in this one question. Let's start with the basic question, what is chartered accountancy? Chartered accountancy is the premier qualification of accounting, auditing and finance, having the knowledge, skills and abilities to equip the professionals, the business professionals to serve the business industries, not only in Pakistan, but all across the world, globally. All over the world, later in the course of our today's session, we are going to discuss the number of chartered accountants working for Fortune 500 companies at very senior positions, making important strategic decisions about businesses, finance, and other fields. So in a nutshell, ICAP is the premier qualification of accounting, auditing, and finance in Pakistan, and to a large extent globally as well. Part two of your question is, what is ICAP? ICAP is Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. Established in 1961 under a federal government ordinance, ICAP is mandated to regulate the profession of accountancy and produce chartered accountancy. In the last 60 odd years, we claim loudly that we have become the premier, the apex institution when it comes to the accounting and auditing qualification, not only in Pakistan, but in the region. The third part of your question is, how can a student enroll, especially as today's topic suggests, how can a student enroll, HSC student and A-level students enroll for becoming a chartered accountant? It's very simple, not rocket science. Just log on to the website www.icap.org.pk and there's a tab available, admissions. Click on the admissions. You can register with ICAP free of cost. Automatically, the website will take you through its DIY, do-it-yourself steps, and it will take you through the steps of how to register. You'll get an SMS, one-time password, then you can register, and that's how you can start your journey with the ICAP. And especially for those A-levels and HSCC students, I'd like to reiterate that you don't have to wait for your results to get admission or get registered with ICAP. ICAP entertains students who are awaiting results, who have given their HSC and A-levels exams and are awaiting results. So this is the right time to hold the sessions again.
Yes. Perfect. So Barira, why you have done like chartered accountancy recently? So what made you choose CA as a profession, and what motivated you to become a chartered accountant?
So it's actually a little bit of a funny story. When I did my HSC, I had no idea about what CA was. So what happens is, I think not my HSC, when I did my metric. I complete my metric exams, and my brother, who is younger than me, my mom was dropping him off to school, and a CA student who was driving apparently behind her hit her car.
Oh,
yes, my mom, being a new driver, couldn't control the car. We had a major accident. Alhamdulillah, no, ऐसे ही चोट वगैरह कोई नहीं लगी, injury or anything. But what happens is, that person, to just get a little bit of sympathy from mom, told my mom that he's a CA student. That's how I got introduced to chartered accountancy. I came home and I asked my teachers what is CA, and then they started telling me what is CA. The first thing that people told me about CA is बहुत मुश्किल होता है, no one can do it. There's hardly any passing ratio. The next thing my teacher told me, but you can do it. You have that trigger, you have that kind of knowledge and intelligence, you will be able to do it. So I think from that point of in time, or from like that challenge that was thrown in front of me, that no one can do it but you might be able to do it, was something that made me choose chartered accountancy.
Teachers motivating you,
exactly.
Very motivating. So how was your journey through the academics and the training period?
So if I do a little bit of deep dive in the CA program, we have we have first AFC level, then GAP level, during which you are a full-time student. Then you start your training. So the CAF level was quite a bit, I wouldn't say easier, but I think it was more, you just have to study and there was nothing else you had to do. You don't have to juggle 2 or 3 things, so that was the easier bit. I did that very happily. It was, I wouldn't say a piece of cake, but I think once you're focused, once you know how to move with your studies, for any study, not just CA, I think you'll be able to ace it. When I started my articleship, which is the training period, I had a love-hate relationship with CA. There were times when I loved being a chartered accountant, there was time when I hated it. And like I told you, I did not have any kind of family pressure or any reason to choose chartered accountancy because beside my own decision, there were times when I thought, why did I do this to myself? Because the training is very extensive. It gives you the trigger, but it also trains you for everything that has to come your way in your professional life, in your future life. And I think that kind of training does not only help you professionally, it also helps you manage your thing, your stress in your personal life as well. So there were times when it was difficult. There were times when I thought, okay, why did I do this to myself? But right now, sitting here, if I given the chance, would I do it again? Absolutely.
It was all worth it, right? It was all worth it.
Yes, indeed.
So, Salman sir, could you please tell us about the education and training scheme of ICAP?
Yeah, very pertinent question. In fact, very recently, ICAP has introduced its new education scheme 2021. Although it's 2022, but the process took time and it was finally published in the Gazette of Pakistan in 2022. It recently, ICAP remains on top of the businesses, global businesses, the trends, where the businesses are heading, the future of chartered accountancy, the future of accountancy, the future of businesses, finance, and general business scenario. So being cognizant of the fact, ICAP decided a couple of years back that it needs to realign its curriculum with the modern global trends. And this is where our new education crops in. Of course, it's a pretty extensive scheme, but for my students' conveyance, I'd just like to dilate upon 3 major points that are major changes in the ICAP. First of all, are the hands-on courses, the 3 hands-on courses which ICAP has introduced. That is number 1, data analytics, fintech, and the personal effectiveness course. Now, sensitizing the fact that future accountants and the finance professions will be more focused on data analysis, data mining, data management. So ICAP has introduced a very extensive, rich, and rigorous course on data analytics, which is mandatory for all the future chartered accountants as we speak. The second one is fintech, financial technology. Again, cognizant of the fact that fintech is the 21st century demand, ICAP has introduced hands-on courses on fintech. And the third skill set that ICAP has introduced in its new education scheme is the personal effectiveness course. Obviously, personal effectiveness is a pretty dynamic word, and as Bahira rightly pointed out, it not only includes your self-management, your stress management, communication skills, interpersonal skills, your emotional intelligence, your stress management, time management. So it contains a pretty holistic approach to make our future chartered accountants more well-rounded in their professions.
Yeah, I think that's a very important aspect to add to the qualification. So as Parita also talked about it, what is your opinion? Is it like very difficult to pass the examinations? What is your point of view?
That's a question that I come across whenever I speak to students. There are lots of myths associated with it. I hope Parita is going to talk more about it as well, because as they say, now, difficulty is a subjective word. Anything, if I know something, if I'm good at it, like driving a vehicle, a motor vehicle. Driving a car, for those who don't know, is difficult. For those who know, it's like a piece of cake. So challenging, it is rigorous. As my son says it, if it were easy, everyone would do it. So it is challenging, it is rigorous. That's why, and you see what, my take is very simple when I speak to youngsters of intermediate and A levels. See, these 21st century millennials, they are high achievers. For them, nothing is impossible. For them, they need to do, they need a chance to realize their true potential. And I strongly believe that this is one of the qualifications, one of the educations that will definitely help you realize your true potential. If you are up to it, I'd strongly urge for those who are takers, who are challenge seekers, who genuinely want to realize test themselves, challenge themselves, realize their true potential, opt for this qualification. Yeah.
Right. So, Barira, you cleared all your papers in a single attempt, mashallah se. So, what are the tips and tricks you would like to, give to the students?
So while Salman sir was talking about it, I was thinking the same thing. There was one thing that I always had a mind to before entering any subject. I remember there were subjects from as low as AFC level to as high as MSc level, where teachers would say, or where the passing ratio was very slow, and people would just get nervous taking those subjects. Oh my god, business communication, it's a very difficult subject. MSc1, it's a very difficult subject. But I've always been a firm believer, you are going there to learn. There is going to be a rigorous process of learning. You will learn and it will become easy for you. You cannot go into any education, be it CA, be it any other education, thinking that it will be difficult. It is difficult for you right now because you have not gone through that step of learning. When you go through all that learning, it will become easier for you. Like Salman Sahib said, is it challenging? Yes. Challenging in what terms? Is the data too much or it's too difficult to understand? No. It's only that you have to have some discipline. You can't just expect, that you will not study throughout your semester, throughout your term, and then just appear in exam and you will magically the question that you've prepared in your classroom will be tested in your exam. That's not. You need to know the concept. You need to be hands-on with the concept. You need to know how to apply them, because when you sit in an examination, they will not be testing your only memory, they will also be testing your application, and that's where practice comes in, that's where the learning comes in, and that's what I think differentiates CAs from any other professionals or any other education as well. So that's my answer, I think.
Sir, there's a question online. We're live, so we have a comment. Someone is asking if
Talking about scholarships, let me start off with the fee structure of ICAP. ICAP itself is a non-profit organization. Its aim is not to make money or to earn profit. So again, we claim very loudly that ICAP CA is arguably the least expensive of the higher education one can afford, and it's easily affordable by a middle class family pretty easily. So ICAP fee structure it's available on the website. I don't want to overburden with the information. It's available all the fee packages. About the second part of the question, scholarships. Yes, we have two student scholarship programs. One is pure 100% academic, very lavish scholarships. We call it EGCA Talent Scholarship, named after the great philanthropist of all times, Abdul Sattar Edi. It started in 2013, 9 years back, and it's a competitive scholarship all across the country from all 28 intermediate boards. We invite the top 20 position holders to appear and compete for this scholarship, and the top 2, based on their metric, intermediate and metric results, they are shortlisted, or then we conduct an aptitude test, and based on that aptitude, the merit list is prepared, and that merit list, based on that merit list, we award two kinds of scholarship: full scholarship and partial scholarship. The full scholarship is very lavish. If we include all the expenses, now covered. It covers give or take up to the tune of 1 million throughout the course of their 5 years or the course of their chartered accountancy studies. And the other one is partial scholarship. The partial scholarship caters for all the examination and registration. The endowment fund is need come academic. So the students who are academically bright yet financially deserving, for them this is the right scholarship. And again, it's pretty lavish, and ICAP is maybe it's merit based, and ICAP is so yes, we do have two financially programs.
So someone is asking, does ICAP has any exemptions for A levels and HSSC students?
Yeah, we do have for A levels for other professional accounting qualifications. For you see the streams of ICAP, we have three different streams for ICAP. Obviously, the one is the HSC intermediate and A level stream. The second one is 14 years qualification, the 14 years BCom, the previous BA BCom, and the third one is 16 years, the BS Accounting and Finance from universities, the students who come after. So, for obviously, it's going to be an information overflow. I'm not going to put into that, but for A-level students, if you have secured a certain number of marks in your accounting, accounts, business studies paper, likewise an intermediate, if you have scored minimum number of marks in your intermediate exams in maths, accounts, economics, business, you will get exemptions. Likewise, for your 14 years qualification as well as for your BS accounting and finance qualification.
So getting in the profession, in the qualification, I would say is not that difficult. But
no, not at all. No.
Okay. So let's talk about the job related. How is the job market for chartered accountants locally and internationally? How is that?
Yeah, internationally, I'll take the international one and then I'll hand over the question, the part 2, the national, to Barira. Let's start off with international recognitions. Alhamdulillah, ICAP is recognized by is a founding member of ICAP. IFAC is International Federation of Accountants. ICAP is a member of CAPA. ICAP is a member of SAFA. These are the regional accounting bodies. And then ICAP is a part of CA Global. Then ICAP has one-on-one recognition arrangements with Chartered Accountancy of Australia and New Zealand, ICAEW, Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. Then we have CPA Canada. We have SOCFA, which is the Saudi Arabian equivalent of ICAP. And we have CIMA, certified CIMA recognition as well. And we have, as we internationally, our global mobility. Our chartered accountants are spread over 75 countries across the world, including the United States of America, Canada, the North America, the South America, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Sub-Saharan African, Far East and Oceania zone, South Africa, all across the world we have members working there and working at senior positions. About the local market, I'd request Barira to take up this question. How is the job scenario and challenge and opportunities for chartered accountants in Pakistani market?
So I think it's quite similar to what Salman Sab said. Along with the international mobility, most of the chartered accountants, you can see once they're done with the training, directly start with the management level in any organization, be it a multinational, be it a smaller organization. Smaller organization, let's say any local organization might be, willing to give you a higher position, but there is no organization that will take you on anything less than a management staff or a middle management position, you can say, for a fresh chartered accountant. With that said, yes, we have, multiple chartered accountants that if CAs on the boards, on, important strategic positions in multinational companies as well, in renowned local group as well, and other companies as well. So I think.
Let me add a very interesting fact over here. Now, gone are the days when accountants were considered the back office bean counters, as I speak think right now there are, I don't want to name the organizations, but there are organizations with 25,000 employees. 25,000 employees is a big number, and their HR head is a chartered accountant. There are organizations with 25,000, 30,000 employees, and their supply chain head is a chartered accountant. Their IT head is a chartered accountant. So these are very interesting facts. The other day we were talking to in an organization with, I suppose, 100,000 employees, and it's a national level organization, partly owned by the government, partly private owned, and a head of business operations and business development is a chartered accountant. So gone are the days when the chartered accountants were confined and focused on counting the numbers and only engaged with, they are genuinely business partners, either expanding the business or simultaneously cutting the cost and, most importantly, adding value to the businesses.
So I think it's quite a bit long on this question, but just adding to what Salman Saab said as well. In Unilever, we, like you also introduced me, I am a business partner, being a chartered accountant for Unilever as well. And also coming back to the point which Salman Saab said, the company I used to work with before Unilever, their business head was a chartered accountant. He used to be the CFO, then he became, like a CEO or a business manager sort of thing, for that company, and I think that's when the company started growing as well. It's actually funny when all the people who were supposed to be business graduates or something were dealing with it, they were in some trouble, but when the chartered accountant came on top of that, that's when they started, bringing new ideas and everything.
That's so insightful. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have like 4 questions coming up. People are very interested in this conversation. Someone is asking that do students have to take classes at ICAP, or is there another way?
No, it's not. It's not. Taking classes for CA education is not mandatory. Yes, we do have registered accounting education tutors all across the country, especially in all the major countries, in all the major cities of the country, but it's not mandatory. Yes, it is recommended, it is suggested, because once you go to a college, a registered college, what happens is you get to know how other students are doing or what's their level of understanding. But you can, if you wish and if you are confident, you can sit at home. The study books are available free of cost. Once you register for the exam, ICAP dispatches the study text is available online, and you can prepare from the text, and you can prepare while sitting at home. So yeah, it's not mandatory.
And in the digital era now, it's like pretty easy to reach the study material and everything.
Post-COVID, yeah, it's like you can sit and
just adding on to it, even pre-COVID, I did at least half of my finals level studying all myself, and that was thanks to the online books that were always available on ICAP website. Even when you couldn't get a hard copy, it was not available. There was always some kind of information, some kind of let's say room available for us to study and know more. Learning has never been,
and
this
nowadays
low
we
at
also
ICAP.
have these crash courses on our YouTube channel for revisions, and that's very helpful as well.
And CASA is also very active with the workshops and everything for students who are preparing for themselves. They normally hold some workshops on the difficult courses on where the people need some workshop and requesting them at the end of the semester, or maybe a month or so before the exams and everything. So that's also very helpful.
So let's, concluding this session, I would like to ask Barira, so what in your opinion makes this CA unique?
I'd like Barira, before we conclude, one question, because that's really, Barira, traditionally accounting is considered a very dry profession. It's, again, I said, it's a back office bean counting kind of a profession. And women, please forgive me if I sound a little stereotyped. It's considered that women are more into fashion designing, more exciting opportunities and jobs like fashion, designing, clothing, music, media. These kinds of professions are like, and during my generation, doctors and teachers and the paramedic staff, they were considered. We had pretty separate engineers, accountants, boys, doctors and other similar professions, women. One thing, how do you see women entering into this profession, and how do you see the future of women chartered accountants in Pakistan? Yeah.
So about the women thing, I get where you're coming from, and yes, there used to be a stereotype, खास तौर पे लड़कियों के लिए कि हो लड़कियों सीए तो होता ही नहीं, क्वालिफाई नहीं होगी, तुम्हारी शादी कब होगी? मतलब that was the biggest thing people used to say when a woman wanted to enter chartered accountancy कि ओ फल्ला तुम्हारी तो उम्र निकल जाएगी. So I think with time changing, things changing, एक तो वो stereotypes भी हमारे hopefully खत्म होते जा रहे हैं culture में. The other thing is the CA Institute itself is very helpful. We have a CA women body as well. We call it QUAC, CWAC, where all the women huddle. They talk about what are the challenges faced as a woman, what things that they need to pitch into the board, to the members, and whatever they can do, to help women. Because like we used to say here at Unilever, equality is not equity. Being a woman, there will always be differences with men. There will be things that they will be more agile and better at, or maybe more flexible at, that we as women cannot be, because we quite frankly have much more responsibility than just being head office. So I think with that said, it's a very open environment, it's a very open profession, and with times changing, most of it, like we can do it from the comfort of homes, depending upon where you're working, depending upon who's your boss is, so many factors that come in. With that said, about the back office thing, or about how people used to troll people or just have fun, ke chartered accountants to munshi hote, that's now how it is. Our work does not constitute of recording financials. Uske liye to, you can have any person who have slightest bit of knowledge of double entry can do that. Maybe probably an A-level student will be able to do that. Where chartered accountant comes in, or where we as chartered accountant can create value, is how we deliver it to the business. The analysis we do. We don't use the word cost cutting here at Unilever. We use the word saving project. How we can save money, how we can, just talk about the FMCG sector, pass on things to the consumer, how we can retain our own value as a company, create value for the shareholders. There are so many avenues for you to analyze and just help your operating partners, the people who are on ground, managing all those things, that maybe if you do it that way, it can create the same value, but maybe save you a little more money, maybe create a wealth in terms of shareholder, maybe create a little budget that we can pass it on to the consumer. So that's where the chartered accountant comes in. That's no back office job. I know, I have done multiple factory visits, and we as chartered accountants are told, unless and until you have been to the business side, you have been on ground of the factories, you have been to the distribution network, you cannot be a good business partner, you cannot perform. And that is the need of the hour, along with what Salman Sahab said about the new courses, data analytics and everything. So that is what we as CAs need to do, and that is what makes us different from any other bookkeeping qualification, I'll say.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for coming. It was a very insightful session, very interactive. I loved it. I hope our audience liked it too. Thank you so much for coming. And for if you guys have any more questions, you can post them in the comments and we will reply to you. And, you can visit our website anytime. Our social media is very active: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can follow us and join the profession, join the qualification whenever you want. And thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a good day. Thank you so much.